Today, we're diving into a story that's part labor law, part constitutional rights, and it all adds up to one big international headache for India. We're talking about a massive retirement fund that got, well, let's just say it got very complicated.
So here's the mystery, right? You've got this massive system, one of the biggest of its kind in the world, and it's supposed to be all about Social Security. So how on earth did it end up causing so much stress and confusion for the exact kind of global talent that India is working so hard to attract?
And look, this wasn't just some abstract policy debate or numbers on a page. We're talking about real people. This quote really brings it home. The situation was creating undue financial strain, workplace stress, and even mental distress. This was hitting people hard. So what exactly was going on here?
Okay, so to really get this, let's just imagine for a second. You're a highly skilled professional, you land an amazing job opportunity in India. You're excited, you're ready to go. But then you get your first paycheck, and whoa, a massive chunk of it is just gone, sucked into this mandatory retirement fund with rules that are totally confusing. It feels less like a safety net and a lot more like a set of golden handcuffs.
All right, let's zoom out. To untangle this whole controversy, we first have to understand the system at the very heart of it. So at the center of all this is the Employees Provident Fund Organization. You'll hear it called the EPFO. This is the government body that runs India's mandatory retirement savings scheme. It's really a cornerstone of Social Security for the Indian workforce. And it's actually one of the largest social security organizations in the entire world. And when I say large, I mean truly massive. Just look at this number. We're talking about estimated annual contributions of around 3 lakh crore rupees. That's over 36 billion US dollars every single year. It's a staggering amount of money, which just goes to show how essential this fund is to millions of lives and to the Indian economy as a whole.
So for most employees in India, here's how it works. Both you and your employer contribute 12% of your basic salary. The employer's share then gets split, with most of it going into a pension scheme and the rest heading straight into your Provident Fund savings. And on top of that, these savings grow at a pretty healthy interest rate, 8.25% for the last fiscal year. So for the vast majority of people, the EPFO is a really powerful and beneficial tool for retirement. So far, so good, right? Well, this is where our story takes a sharp turn. Because buried inside this straightforward system was a catch, a single provision in the law that created a completely different and much more difficult reality for international workers.
It all came down to this one little thing. Paragraph 83 of the Employees Provident Fund scheme. This one paragraph carved out a special, and as it turns out, highly problematic set of rules just for international workers. And here is the core of the whole issue. For a domestic worker, PF contributions were calculated based on their basic wages. And, this is the important part, they were capped at a certain salary level. But for an international worker, the rules required them to contribute on their entire salary. No cap at all. So if you're a high-earning professional, you can imagine what that does to your take-home pay. It was a huge, disproportionate deduction that just wrecked their financial planning. Now, as you can probably guess, this situation felt deeply unfair to a lot of people, and eventually, it sparked a legal showdown. The whole controversy landed right in the lap of the Karnataka High Court. And the court had to answer one simple but fundamental question. Was it actually legal for the law to treat international workers so differently in a mandatory Social Security system? The court's answer was a clear, direct, and resounding no. The rule was struck down. But the reasoning behind that no is what's really fascinating here. The court's logic was just so powerful. It found that paragraph 83 violated Article 14 of India's constitution, the fundamental right to equality. It said the distinction between domestic and international workers was arbitrary. There was no reasonable justification for it. In fact, it went against the entire purpose of the EPF Act, which was designed as a social safety net, mostly for lower-income employees. The court essentially said you can't take a system designed for one group and then unfairly apply it to another group without any logical reason.
So this verdict wasn't just a victory for a few individuals. It sent massive ripples across India's economic landscape. So let's zoom out one last time and look at the broader consequences of this really important decision. This whole issue really ties into a much bigger conversation about something called Social Security Agreements, or SSAs. These are crucial treaties between countries, and they're designed to solve these exact kinds of problems for people who work abroad. And these agreements are absolutely vital for a global workforce. They make sure you don't have to pay into two social security systems at once. They ensure you can actually take your retirement benefits with you when you move countries, and they can even combine your work history from different places to help you qualify. Now, while India does have these agreements with about 19 countries, this court ruling helps create a much more level playing field for professionals from all over the world.
And really, here is the key takeaway. This ruling is about so much more than one paragraph in a legal document. By striking down this arbitrary rule, the court helped align India's domestic labor laws with its huge international ambitions. It's a critical step in making India a more attractive and more equitable place for global talent, which is absolutely essential if it's going to become a major economic hub. So, one major headache is solved, but it leaves us with a final and pretty provocative thought. As India's economy and its workforce become more and more global, this case is a powerful reminder that its laws have to not just be fair, but they also have to be future-ready. So the question is, can they keep up?